Welcome to this narration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 4, Chapter 5, Extraction. Dear Diary, I comm control and got the info on the Jakku ship. I got its last 4 ports of call, which were months ago. Its registered route, which is innocuous and probably false, and her name, the Great Catch, an ominous name. I managed to get her model, a Wyvera class freighter. I got the specs for her class and started looking for a way to track her. It's pretty complicated, so I got Rugi to look it over. She thinks that maybe we can get a general idea of her hyperspace trajectory by tracking their drive's ripples in hyperspace. She also ran a scan on the Great Catch and found her armaments were out of specs, but that's not unusual for such an old ship. The harpoon launchers were unusual. We sent the info up to Mom, and she warned the other ships about the Great Catch and her crew. In other news, since Bren and Pav are planetside, they couldn't continue the plan. But Bren and I decided that we probably don't want to make the next steps on the station. Station Zinzin might be annoyingly bureaucratic, but at least it doesn't have a giant ganger underbelly. Probably. I asked Bren to poke around their forums to see if she can figure out if the crime population is as bad there, but we'll probably have to wait for the hands to get back to help with the equipment shopping. I still think that having our own manufacturing capacity will improve sales by keeping the product consistent, and getting materials is far simpler than setting up a logistical chain to keep ourselves in stock. The Littles are getting calmed down, especially since we spread the news that Yoiv managed to get away from the gangers on his own. The idea that we can help ourselves out of danger has made this whole thing a lot less scary to them. Well, to me too. I'll admit that much. I really need Daddy to teach me how to shoot. I'm old enough. Maybe I'll have Sneaky teach me about Overwatch too. Maybe I could have protected Yoiv if I knew what I was doing. Mom is coordinating 2 shuttles from some passenger liners to go pick him and the other kidnapped children up. And they're sending Sneaky some reinforcements while they're at it. But since he didn't pick them, I don't know if he wants them. They can cover the escape at least. Log 6,001.0.15. Personal, Captain Yongdril. When I returned to our base camp, Gregory was staring intently in the middle distance through his visor. I guessed that he was studying the representation of the building and the surrounding area. "What's our timescale for the shuttle?" he asked without looking up. "They'll be landing in 2 hours, maybe 3. 3 ship shuttles from the passenger liner," I explained as the others slipped in behind me. "Any sign of our feathered friends?" "I saw 2 men trying to be nonchalant about walking this way." "It's probably them." "Link up with my display." "Yes, sir." When I linked up with his visor, I saw what he saw, and I saw that I had guessed correctly, at least in part. He was studying a map on the building exterior, the surrounding area, and the images of several identified leaders. "These 3 gangers," he said, and highlighted 3 images of Jakku with dyed scales that were supposed to make them look more intimidating. Maybe the patterns did, if you had the cultural context. Anyway, he continued without mentioning the markings. "Are the heads of these little gang, the shot callers, as the kids called them. These 20 are sort of lieutenants. They report directly to the shot callers and have distinct spheres of operation. According to the Feather People, these 5 run in the kidnapping operation. If possible, I'd like to take one alive. If you can isolate one without incurring risk, take the initiative and come in. Otherwise, these are priority targets for elimination. The shot callers are unlikely to show themselves during this operation, but losing some lieutenants will disrupt their chain of command." "Oh good, you're here." "You started without us," one of the middle-aged Corvian men rossed at him. "He's upset at being left out." "This information is irrelevant to your mission. Can you link into my visor display?" Again, Gregory did not look up from his work, and simply continued speaking once he saw the 2 add-ons. "You need to know that the rendezvous point for the extraction team is here, 6 blocks to the west. The most dangerous part will be the immediate breakaway from the hiding place. But these alleys should provide sufficient concealment if you break the kids into groups of 5 to 8, with 3 or 4 guards for each group. Do you and yours have any experience with weapons?" "Little, but enough to not shoot what we don't want to." "It'll have to be enough. With any luck, you'll just need to look intimidating. We have some captured pistols, shockers, and 1 or 2 chemical propellant rifles. Take what you need. We're good with our equipment. Do you understand your part of the mission?" "Yes," the younger of the two clicked out, clearly disconcerted by something so adorable laying out a tactical situation like a military man. I translated for Gregory, which is either agitated or confused them. Gregory had noticed the shift, so he said, "No implant, not allowed by my old job. Haven't decided whether to get one for this job yet. While you are getting these hostages, one of which is my brother, to safety, we'll be getting the gangers' attention." They were mollified but still felt the need to ask. "How?" I was content to let them stew in it, but Gregory was looking at me expectantly, so I translated the question. "By teaching them to fear the open sky. Now, these are the possible team leaders of sorts. I have them classed as sort of non-commissioned officers. Well, that's probably not the best analogy. I'm not super experienced with gangs, so I'm going off anti-pirate tactics. The elimination or neutralization of one of these guys will most likely cause the street-level gangers to break and run. This is preferable. Whenever possible, target or designate a team leader and allow the team to retreat if broken. We will find another patrol to ambush. This will grow the threat we pose in the mind of the gangers, especially if you can keep from being spotted too often. Be wary of the juveniles. They'll not be hesitant to kill, not if their childhoods are violent ones. Get into position. There is a likely patrol on the far side of the building about a block out in 10 minutes. I want to hit it and start drawing their attention to the southeast." "Yes, sir," we said quickly, and our guests looked disconcerted. "I am trusting you with my son," I said to the other. "Do not give me cause to regret this trust." The ambush went perfectly. Gregory opened it up by putting a plasma bolt through an ankle and flashed boiled the fluid and then relieved the scum of a limb. As he lay in the street screaming in pain, the rest of us chose our targets amongst the remaining 24 and opened fire. In less than half a minute, Gregory had decapitated the group both figuratively and literally, at least in the case of the team leader and 3 others. Every ganger we shot was another criminal who wouldn't threaten my son's escape. I knew I was taking lives to protect the hostages. I knew that men met their ends because of my choices. The 4 that ran away got to live. The 3 I shot should have run too. "I see another large patrol group 2 blocks south, moving westward," Gregory said. "Let's get into position ahead of them. We'll open up with 1 salvo, and the rest of you will reposition further east. Hopefully they will report that we retreated and encourage reinforcements in that direction." We obeyed. The second ambush went as well as the first. I ended a further 2 lives in that ambush, where, as Gregory left 4 alive on the ground, missing arms and legs, while the remainder of the reinforcements fled. We repositioned further to the south and waited for another group to return for the wounded. It took them several long minutes to manage it, and longer for a small group of them to wander into Gregory's line of fire, which he used to dismember another ganger and reveal his position, which just so happened to lead the rest of the group into our fields of fire. I killed or maimed at least 12 men. I am not looking forward to when I can let my heart open to the fact. Gregory is still focused, still cold. He speaks and moves under a tremendous strain of combat with such a comfortable ease. I feel just a little heartache creeping through as I recall how he said he gets no nightmares when he's on Overwatch. We are in his hands, and he has every confidence that he can keep us safe. But Yoifdrol has been entrusted to others, outside his sight. It all went to void when the shuttle team came to warn us that another shuttle was standing something like 3 blocks to the north of them. The video shared of their visors showed that the very same criminal that had tormented my adoptive son was riding a ground vehicle towards the gang headquarters. "If we move now, we might be able to get that void sucker," Yemdril darkly suggested. "Negative. Keeping enemy forces occupied takes priority. Hostile eliminated. Pav, movement behind to your left. Hostile eliminated." "He might have had a lead on getting you back in contact with your people," I reminded him. "Hostile neutralized," he said, and I could hear him struggling to control his breathing. Then, in a voice like a polar breeze, he said, "Negative. Yoiv takes priority. You are also my people." I could see relief wash over his face after the 4th ambush when Trevor came to tell us that all of the hostages were aboard the shuttle and they had left the planet. The news was tempered with the bitter report that the poacher had already left off planet. "Dear hero Loggery, Sneaky and Daddy's plan worked. The nice people made sneaky teams with us to get away while the bad people weren't looking. They were not very sneaky. They kept stooping over and darting from shadow to shadow. They did not look to see where the pure bad people were looking. It was okay, because the bad people were all going on the other way. I rode a shuttle from a different ship. They moved people instead of cargo like us. It sounds fun. Mission Log 4, date 136. Name Gregory George. Mission Planetary Rescue. Mission Objective: rescue Linus from unknown hostiles connected to Shady Lawyer. Linus located on planet. Shuttle company name determined, shuttle by green. Gang identified. Gang headquarters identified. Likely information vector identified. Information vector obtained. Large number of gangers in hiding. Linus has escaped. Linus secure. Linus has rescued other kidnapped victims. Exfiltrate Linus and other kidnapped victims. Linus and hostages rescued. Objective complete. Eliminate or neutralize all hostiles. 1 hostile neutralized non-lethally. 1 hostile eliminated. 6 hostiles eliminated. 1 potential hostile neutralized. 8 hostiles eliminated. 9 hostiles eliminated. 3 potential hostiles neutralized. 53 hostiles eliminated. 8 hostiles neutralized. Teach criminal elements a lesson. 1 example provided. 1 demonstration provided. 3 demonstrations provided. 9 examples provided. 5 demonstrations provided. 8 examples provided. Mission parameters: minimize collateral casualties. Minimize collateral property damage. Evade detection by station security. Minimize station damage. Protect allies. Potential action plan: continue ambushing patrols until group size is below 5. Observations irrelevant to mission. Underage combatants flee the field as soon as we begin ambushing patrols. I saw abandoned melee weapons and cheap pistols in places where juveniles had been previously loitering. Likely sentry posts. Likely word amongst them on how not to die spread. Good. 1 less stressor to deal with. Profanity acquired. Googly-eyed feck spotted. Fecker was too far outside area of operation. Shitbag. End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Creighton, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.